Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Nick O'Leary. Now, I know you guys absolutely love the tips and tricks videos that I did last year. However, we're in 2021 now, and I think it's about time that we did a new tips and tricks video. So before we dive into that, do just bear in mind that the specification can vary greatly across all models and in different countries. So I've carefully hand-picked these, so hopefully at least a few of these tips and tricks should apply to your Mercedes. So let's dive straight in. Now, on some selected Mercedes-Benz models, you'll find the resting position of the wiper blades are right at the very bottom of the bonnet, to the point where you can't actually see them on the inside, which is a nice touch. However, if you do want to change your wiper blades, or if you want to clean your windscreen, for example, there is a bit of restrictive movement here, but there's a workaround. Now, this is easily rectified by putting the wipers into their change or vertical position. So this is a hidden thing not many people know about, but quite simply, all you would do is turn the ignition off, and then you would open the door, and then you'd hold the button, your single wipe button, on the end of the indicator stalk, and they'll go into their vertical position. So this allows you to change the wiper blades or clean the windscreen. So let's do it step by step. So ignition off, open the driver's door, and then hold the button on the end just very lightly, and they'll go up into their vertical position, just like that. Now, this tip and trick isn't just for Mercedes-Benz cars. This is found on quite a few manufacturers and models out there. But did you know, if you look at your fuel gauge on the instrument cluster, there is an arrow pointing to what side the fuel filler cap is on. Very neat. However, with the increasing number of hybrids on the road, if you look at the electricity part, there should be an arrow there as well, pointing to what side the connector is on as well. Now, for my next tip and trick, programming in your sat-nav is super easy in your Mercedes-Benz. So whether you have the previous NTG 5.5 command or the latest MBUX system, it's very easy. However, if you want to send a sat-nav address from your phone to the car, you can do that through Mercedes Me. So you need the Mercedes Me app for this, and you'll need your car linked through Mercedes Me. So what you do once you've linked all of that and signed in, go to the bottom right-hand corner of the app. There's a little location symbol down there. That will show you then where the car's location is. But what we're interested in is the search box in the middle, the one that says search for city or address. So if I press this, I can type in a place where I would like to go, like a postcode or a zip code or a road name. So let's type in West Quay in Southampton. There we go, it's the second result. That will then show me where it is, but I want to press the button in the middle that says send to vehicle. So now I press this. As long as you bring your phone with you next time you get in the car, it will appear on the screen just like that. And then all you do is just press OK on the car screen and hit start.
The route is being calculated. Please proceed to the highlighted route.
Simple as that. Now, on NTG 5.5 command or MBUX systems just like this one, you can of course save your favourite sat-nav destinations in the favourites folder. However, renaming them might not be immediately clear, so I'm just going to show you here how that works. So if we go to where to, and yes, of course you could type something in here, but I've already got something here saved in the previous destinations, but I want to save that as a favourite. So I'm going to press the star and then save as favourite. Now that goes into the favourites folder. So if I go back to the favourites screen, you'll see that that favourite is now here. However, renaming it isn't quite clear because you can't see the rename button here. However, the way it works in Mercedes-Benz cars is that any favourites you save are saved in the global favourites folder. And that favourites folder is actually found on the star here in the centre console, or the star on the steering wheel. This is how you access your favourites on your sat-nav really quickly, and it's quicker than doing it this way, to be honest. So if I press the star, this is where they're all saved. Now if I hold my finger on this one, I can now rename this to any name that I choose. So let's name this Mercedes Pool, and then I'll tap OK, and that is now renamed that sat-nav favourite. Now, this tip and trick is the passenger mirror dip in reverse, and quite simply it will dip the left passenger mirror down to point towards the floor so you can kind of see your wheel and the curb. Now, not all Mercedes-Benz have this, You'll more commonly find it on newer models and sometimes models with memory seats, but to be honest, you'll just have to try it. And the way to tell if you have it, put your foot on the brake pedal and pop it into reverse, and if one of your mirrors lights up over here, then you know you have this feature. And quite simply, the right mirror will keep the mirrors as they are, and if you select the left mirror, then the left mirror is going to go down and point towards the ground. And while it's in this mode, while you've got your foot on the brake pedal and while it's in reverse, you can adjust this, so I can point that down just a little bit more so I can see the wheel. But of course, if you don't want it to point down, just select the right mirror while it's in reverse and they'll go back up to where they were. But let's do this manoeuvre, so let's keep it in reverse and we'll just move this backwards a bit, get it nicely tucked into the curb. Perfect. Now, multi-beam LED, formerly known as intelligent light system, is a very clever automatic full beam system which adjusts the headlights for the road conditions ahead. So if there's a car coming towards you, for example, it can dip the headlights down for where they are only, but then also adjust it for traffic signs and weather conditions and that kind of thing. It's a very, very clever system. However, as it is classed as an assistant system, you may wish to turn this off from time to time and do the full beam manually. And quite simply, in Mercedes-Benz cars, all you do is turn the light switch to the right, so to the 1 o'clock position, and then you can control the full beam manually. Now, for tip and trick number 7, this is perfect in winter or wet conditions. Did you know that all Mercedes-Benz mirrors are actually heated? It works in conjunction with the heated rear window switch. So when you turn this on, you get 2 heating elements in both mirrors come on at the same time. It can help evaporate the water in case it's been raining. This typically takes anything between 5 and 10 minutes depending on the temperature. And in the winter, it will help melt all the ice as well, enabling you to see a little bit more clearly. Now, for tip and trick number 8, it's the lowest gear change with the paddles. So I think most people know with the automatics you have the brake pedal and accelerator pedal, and if you push down really hard on the accelerator pedal to the floor, there's a little clicky bit at the bottom, and this is known as the kick down, and what it will do is drop down to the lowest gear possible and accelerate you really, really quickly as fast as the car can go. This is particularly useful for overtaking. However, on the paddles, if you hold the left paddle while driving, it will actually put the car's gearbox into a manual mode, but also drop down to the lowest gear possible based on the given speed you're doing. So then you can manually use the gears, and it's a quicker way than continually pressing the left paddle to get down to the lowest gear. So quite simply, just hold the left one and it will go down to the lowest gear. If you leave it for approximately 10 seconds, depending on driving input, it will go back to its automatic setting. But if you want to go back straight away, just hold the right one and then it will go back within a couple of seconds. Now, I've mentioned a few times that you can create profiles on MBUX systems which enable you to save your settings and personalise the car to the way you would like it for up to 7 people, which is really, really good. But did you know you can ask the voice assistant to swap a profile for you? Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Load up the profile guest, please.
Okay.
So what this has done is just loaded up the guest profile with all the default settings, and all my settings are then saved on mine, so a friend or whoever could come into the car then and drive the car and not mess any of my settings up. Now, this one is quite model specific, but if you have like an estate or an SUV with a close boot button, if you press this button, of course it will close, but if you press it again, it will stop. Now, if you hold this button, you'll hear a bing, which now means that's programmed to only open to that height. So if I close that boot back up again, and then open it back up, it will open up to that pre-selected height, which I just programmed in, just like that. Now, if you want to reset that back to its normal opening height, if you hold that button again, you'll hear 2 bings, and now that will open up to its normal height, just like before. Now guys, I know you all love tips and tricks on your Mercedes, so as a thank you for sticking around to the very end, here's a bonus one. Now for my final tip and trick today, guys, is a manual only mode for the gearbox. So typically when you change the gears using the paddles, it will put the gearbox into a temporary manual mode. and after roughly 10 seconds it will go back to its automatic mode again. But what happens if you want manual all the time? Well, if you have a GLC, a GLE or a GLS, and potentially some other models just from memory, there's an M button in the middle here which will put the gearbox into that manual mode. So that's nice and easy. But what happens if you don't have one of those models? There's no M button here. So quite simply use the dynamic select switch and move this to the individual mode. So typically cars have Eco, Comfort, Sport and sometimes Sport Plus. But if you go to individual, there's a settings icon down here on the bottom left. If we go onto that, then you can go to drive, and then there's a manual button on the bottom. Selecting this puts the gearbox into a manual mode, and you have to change gear using the paddles. And if you want to put it back to automatic, just choose another mode, but that individual mode is your custom manual mode essentially. Guys, thanks again for watching this week's video on 10 hidden tips and tricks on your Mercedes. If you want to check out any more videos I've made on Mercedes-Benz models, do check out this playlist just here, and we'll take you straight to all the other tips and tricks videos I've made. Guys, like, comment and subscribe. We'll see you all next week.